it's over in a hurry, and he's constantly reminded that January is when quarterbacks make a name for themselves. Now let's head over to the Cowboys sideline and Aaron Andrews.
Chris, thanks. Despite coming off the best December of his career, Tony Romo has said, let's turn the page. He said, of course, this is when how well you play matters. This is when you need to win championships. He admitted to me, since he's gotten older, he's gained perspective. He knows these opportunities don't present themselves every single year, and you have to cash in. And he told me, although I know I'm the better version of myself right now, I need to go out there and play exactly how I've played all December long. Joe?
Yeah, Aaron, he had a great December, went 4-0. The numbers were fantastic. There's pressure, obviously, also on the officials, and thank God he's here with us in the booth. Mike Pereira, former director of officiating. I know it makes you happy, it makes me happy. Here he is, Mike Pereira. Makes you happy.
Makes me happy, and I know who didn't sleep well last night. Pete Morelli, the referee. Because although he's the referee, it's not his crew. This is a mixed crew. There's not a single regular of his crew on this group. It's the playoff philosophy. It's mixed crews. I wouldn't even call it an all-star crew, because 70 officials move on out of 105. You don't get to all-stars till the championship and the Super Bowl. So he's got to be a bit nervous.
Yeah, I mean, it's a team game. It's a team game for the Cowboys, for the Lions, for us bringing it to you, certainly for the officials. And they're looking at guys they don't normally look at during the regular season. Spanish language broadcast available on both Fox Deportes and by utilizing SAP on our broadcast. It's loud. And that's good news for the Cowboys, where early in the year people were questioning whether there was a legit home field advantage in this gargantuan stadium in Arlington, Texas. We'll see the Dallas offense first, as Sam Martin will kick it away for the Lions with Dwayne Harris waiting deep. And let's go. They'll start at the 20. For Tony Romo, last year, eyebrows were raised at that $108 million deal. $55 million guaranteed. Dallas ended last year their third straight 8-8 record. This year for Romo started with his second back surgery. More questions, limited practice, small fractures in his low back from a hit against the Redskins. To the best football of his career, 4-0 in December, MVP talk. But he's got, Troy, that 1-3 record hanging over his head in the playoffs. A lot of pressure on number 9 for Dallas. Murray, top rusher in the game this season, picks up 1, and we'll look at the offense. And Troy, why don't you talk about what a great young offensive line this is, and what a luxury it is for Tony Romo.
3 first-round picks, as we all know, and that's been the difference between this team in years past, is they've been dominant running the football. And as good as this offensive line is, Joe, in run blocking, I'm not so sure they're not better in pass protection.
2nd and 9. Good protection. Pass high but caught. That's Dez Bryant. Bryant got a big hit, lost the ball, and gets back on top of it as Rashean Mathis delivered the hit, and Dez Bryant avoided the turnover. What a hit, a gain of 2.
A little loose with the football right there. Dez Bryant, as Rashean Mathis comes in and lowers the boom on Dez Bryant. Ball out. Fortunately for the Cowboys, he was able to get back on it. That was a point of contention all week with defensive coordinator Terrell Austin. Last week in that loss to the Green Bay Packers, this team did not tackle well, something they have done a great job of all year. They set the tone on the first play.
Now 3rd down and 7. Pass is too high for Beasley, and it's 3 and out. This Dallas team, 47% converting on 3rd down. That's the 2nd best mark in the NFL, but that was not a good start offensively for the Cowboys. Here comes Chris Jones. And Golden Tate, Troy, is going to return punts for the first time this year.
Yeah, something he did in Seattle a year ago and was one of the better return guys in the league. Has been lobbying for this job all season, and he's going to get it here in the first postseason game.
The driving punt by Jones. Tate on the move. Got pumped. That's Spillman. And somehow Golden Tate hung on. Take a listen. How about welcome back to the punt returner's job, Golden Tate?
Well, he decided he was going to try to return that one, and see if C.J. Spillman, he fights through the block on the outside, and Golden Tate, he'll rethink that.
Now the Dallas native from Highland Park, Matthew Stafford, 0-1 in his career in the postseason. Takes over at the 38. Quick throw, pass caught. That's Reggie Bush. Lost it, but out of bounds. Knocked out by Barry Church. How about Matthew Stafford? He is sick of this number. 0-17. His record on the road against winning teams. That includes the postseason now, as he lost at New Orleans back in 2011. 2nd and 10. Fake it to Joyke Bell, and I'll throw it to him. And Bell out of the backfield has got a first down. Joyke Bell has been running it better and better. Now he catches one out of the backfield, picks up 11, and we have the first down of the game. And this offensive line has Raiola back from the suspension and 2 rookies starting on the right side.
Well, and Travis Swanson, he's making the start then at right guard. He was the starting center, as you said, last week against Green Bay with Raiola out. But 2 rookies on the right side, although Travis Swanson had 3 starts at right guard during the regular season.
On first down, first carry, Bell swallowed up in the backfield by Crawford, who's been playing great. They call it a we fence around here in Dallas. They don't have any superstars, but they are much better than a year ago, coordinated by the former head coach of the Lions, Rod Marinelli.
He's done really a masterful job of exceeded everybody's expectations. There's not a guy in the pass rush that you concern yourself with offensively that you have to game plan against. There's not a defensive back that you worry about throwing the football against, but yet they have played good team defense, and they rally to the football.
Wilbur is coming on the blitz. Stafford steps up, fires, got a man, that's Tate. Golden Tate inside the 20. He's going to go to the end zone for a touchdown. And a quick strike from the Detroit Lions to start this game. 51 yards to the first-year Lion, Golden Tate.
Well, you're going to see Golden Tate in the slot, and in order to run the route that he ran, you've got to have good protection inside for your quarterback. He starts like he's going to run an out route. Then he turns back, and he's up the seam. Now, Matthew Stafford in the pocket, he's got to buy a little bit of time and let the development of the play happen. He steps up and delivers a strike to Golden Tate, and this guy is outstanding once the ball's in his hands.
Led the NFL in yards after the catch. And he goes 51 yards for a 7-0 lead.
The kick is good. Lions 7, Cowboys 0.
There's a penalty flag on the extra point. Well, what a last 5 or 6 minutes for number 15, Golden Tate.
Offside, number 32, defense. The extra point is good. The penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. Timeout.
First punt return of the year moments ago. Golden Tate just got waxed by Spillman. Then 51 yards, a catch and run, and the early road lead for the Lions, up 7-0. Winnipeg over 91,000 fans, awful quiet. Force a 3-and-out defensively, then get a quick strike touchdown, 51-yarder to Golden Tate, and a good start for Detroit. For the second time, the drive for the Cowboys will start at the 20. Back to the touchdown we go.
Well, you know, coming into the game, Calvin Johnson is going to draw some attention. J.J. Wilcox, number 27, he's going to work that way. Try to give a little bit of help to the outside, Brandon Carr, and that's what helps open things up on the inside. An excellent route by Golden Tate. J.J. Wilcox still should have been there to be able to help make a play, at least make a tackle and save a touchdown. But Golden Tate, he's heard all week long, too, that Calvin Johnson, Dez Bryant, 2 of the best receivers in all of football, and This guy's had a great season. He's going to make sure they notice him today.
So now Tony Romo and the Cowboys playing in a 7-point hole.
Hey, kill! 180! What is done?
Here's Murray. Top run defense has been good on 2 carries by DeMarco Murray so far. No gain. Take a look at this defense. It ended up ranked number 2 in the NFL. They were number 3 in points allowed. And Ndamukong Suh was initially suspended for this game, then reinstated upon appeal. It is a huge piece up front for Detroit to have in this game.
Well, he draws so many of the double teams, Joe. He's had an outstanding year, another all-pro season. He's a real force, both in playing the run as well as getting after the quarterback. So him playing in this ball game not only helps Detroit, but it helps everyone that's playing around him on that defensive line.
On 2nd and 10, Romo out to his right. Comes underneath, too low for Witten. And an uninspiring start for the Dallas Cowboys offense, which finished the regular season ranked 7th in the NFL, 5th in points. And it's 3rd and 10.
Well, and they've gotten off to so many fast starts here in the last month of the season as well. The way that they've been able to outscore the opponent. But this defense for Detroit, they were embarrassed in the way that they played last week to finish off the season. And you just felt coming in that they were going to want to show everybody that they're the defense that they had been all year long.
3rd down and 10. Romo with protection, got hit as he threw it. He finds Beasley. And a first down. And it's guys like Beasley and Escobar, the guys you don't think about on 3rd down, that Jason Garrett said were going to be big in this game.
Yeah, they stack Cole Beasley behind Jason Witten. Keeps anybody from really being able to get any hands on him. He runs an out route, well-run route, and Romo with pressure lays it out there perfectly.
17 yards on 3rd and 10. Here's Murray. DeMarco Murray, who ran for 1,845 yards, which is a Cowboy franchise record. Carried it 392 times. Was out shaking out that left arm, grabbing the left hand, which had a broken bone in it from their game in Philadelphia.
Now the guy who makes the tackle is James E. Hedebo, the safety, and he was benched in last week's game for missing too many tackles. And that one makes a nice play.
They fake it to Randall. Romo is going to air it out downfield. Downfield, it is broken up. Terrence Williams had it knocked away by Darius Slay. And a good play by number 23, the 2nd-year pro out of Mississippi State.
Well, you see, it's one-on-one. Terrence Williams, who's made a lot of big plays this season, but I think the reason that the ball was a little behind and underthrown was right at the end of this. You see the hit that Ziggy Ansah puts on Tony Romo and doesn't allow him to get the ball out in front of Williams.
So they're looking at the left elbow of DeMarco Murray on 3rd down and 7. Extra men on the rush. Romo fires behind Beasley, incomplete. He had Beasley open. Romo got hit hard at the end of that play. Ansah was coming along with Don Carey, and it's 4th down.
They run a game up front with Ziggy Ansah, and he's able to get a shot then on Romo. He's not able to hang in the pocket. You don't see this year Tony Romo under as much pressure as he has been under here in the early going of this ball game.
An impressive start for this Lions defense as they lead by 7. Romo has started 2 for 6 for 19 yards. Jones shanked it. But it takes a Dallas bounce. Will go down inside the 5. A flag is down as the ball will be tapped inside the 1. But a flag is down. And we'll get the call from Pete Morelli.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 39 of the receiving team, hitting a player out of bounds. Half the distance to the goal, timeout.
That'll move the ball about 3 inches because the ball's inside the 1. Concern for DeMarco Murray in this game. Dallas has started slow. Lions have it up 7. I don't think Detroit up 7-0 could start any closer to their own goal line than they are right now. They're coming off only their 3rd opening drive touchdown of the year. They had none over their last 10 games. Started fast. Here we go. Ball inside the 1. They're going to hand it to Collins, a fullback, and he's going to fight to get maybe 2.
Yards are tough to come by down here, and a lot of times if you're not running that type of play, you go with the play action, see if you can sneak a fullback or somebody into the flat in a hurry. But right now the Lions are focused on just one thing, and that's just trying to pick up 1 first down and give their punter a little bit of room.
Cowboy punter Chris Jones shanked it, took a great bounce. Now 2nd down and 9. Handoff is to Joyke Bell, left side. McClain stands him up as he gets to the 6. A gain of 4. Manageable 3rd down coming up for Matt Stafford, who threw for a career low 4,200 yards this season. The turnovers were limited, only 12 picks to go with his 22 touchdowns.
How about that? A career low, 4,200 yards.
It's a different game, isn't it?
A different game, but you know they did help themselves with not turning the ball over, but by doing so, they're not as explosive as they've been in years past either.
Third down and 5. Stafford throws and incomplete. Looking for Reggie Bush with coverage by Tyler Patman. It's 3 and out. The defense steps up for Dallas.
Yeah, one-on-one. Patman, he's got to cover Reggie Bush, and he does a good job on him. Riley Reef, Jeremy Mincy, who's done a nice job, really, especially down the stretch for the Cowboys of applying pressure. He was able to get Riley Reef, their left tackle, into the face of Matthew Stafford. Good stop there defensively by the Cowboys.
Word on DeMarco Murray from the sideline is he's fine. He better be. The Cowboys will need him today as they're about to get it back. Going for the block. And they almost got there. There's a flag thrown for running into the punter. And with this ball being where it is, either way, this is going to be a first down. A 38-yard punt. It was 4th
running
and 5.
Into the kicker. 5-yard penalty. Result of the penalty is a first down.
So either 5 or 15. It's Dakota Watson. He comes in low, and that's a killer penalty for the Dallas Cowboys.
That's unbelievable. I mean, to have the ball backed up the way that Dallas did, they're going to get great field position. Dakota Watson just makes a huge mistake. Special teams so many times in these types of games determine the outcome. That was a huge penalty against the Dallas Cowboys.
Look down to Mike Pereira in this booth. He says it's a good call. Punter has the ability to get that right leg down. He did not. And the result is a first down. That's a big one against Dakota Watson. Now with Reggie Bush in the backfield trying to pick his way, and Bush gets to the line of scrimmage, maybe got half.
Reggie Bush on the carry to the line.
Reggie Bush had a rough season. Played in just 11 games. He first hurt his ankle week 5. He's been getting healthier and healthier. It's his 5th week back, but a guy who had a 1,000-yard rushing season a year ago, under 300 in 2014.
Yeah, and I think in this ball game, Joe, that he's the guy who really, has to be a playmaker. Calvin Johnson's going to do what he does. Golden Tate has already got off to a great start. Reggie Bush is the one who can create some real problems.
Quick throw, Golden Tate looking for something after the catch, and he swallowed up. Sterling Moore with a play. 3rd and 8 coming up.
So that's just an excellent job of rallying to the football. Sterling Moore, he fights through the block to help make a play and slow Golden Tate up, and then they get the inside pursuit from this defense. It's a great job of knowing where your help was for Sterling Moore.
Now 3rd down and 8. Just 4 men on the rush. Stafford steps through it. Gonna try and run for it, and he gets a block and gets a first down. He went around Tyler Patman, and Matthew Stafford, not known for what he can do with his legs, picks up a big first down.
Yeah, that's really something too, Joe, because earlier in the season we had the game when they played the New England Patriots late, and Stafford slid on a 4th down play up short of the first down, and here it is early in the game, 3rd down, but this is playoff football right here. Rather than going down and protecting himself, knowing exactly where he needed to get to pick up the first down. That's an excellent job by Matthew Stafford.
And a poor tackle by Tyler Patman, 9 yards, most of it after contact. Now Scandrick can't bring down Reggie Bush. Rolando McClain lays the hit, but a gain of 9 for Reggie Bush. And these have been some missed opportunities for the Dallas Cowboys defensively.
Yeah, it's a good point, Joe, because we'll see what ultimately happens on this drive for the Detroit Lions. But you've got running into the punter, keeps this drive alive, and then a missed tackle there on 3rd down.
Now 2nd down and 1. Seventh run. It's Bell. He's got a first down out across the 40. And Troy, while this defense was better for the Dallas Cowboys this year, it was record-setting futility-wise for Dallas last year. The opponent's time of possession was the lowest in the NFL because the Cowboys' offense was so good. This defense really didn't get overexposed. They're out there for a long time right now.
Yeah, and the longer they're on the field, as you know, when this season, when you look at it, when they've been on the field for a period of time, they do get exposed. That's part of their formula.
4-man rush, pass caught. That's the first of the day for Calvin Johnson. And Johnson, who had a huge day, as somebody is down for Detroit. That is the rookie Swanson. Calvin Johnson has his first catch, and the Lions lead by 7 on the move again.
Game is sponsored by Ford F-150. Introducing the all-new Ford F-150, the future of tough. And by Pizza Hut, we're taking pizza where it's never been before.
And look at the rookie Travis Swanson as Garrett Reynolds comes in at right guard. They are thin on the offensive line for the Lions. 2nd and 2. Pass is caught. That's Bell. And Joyce Bell with a creative play is down at the 31. They faked it to him. They faked an end around and then throw it to Joyce Bell for 18 yards.
Yeah, the end around is what really opened things up, because you're going to see Matthew Stafford drop back. Here comes Golden Tate. And then they throw the screen opposite of that action, and a pretty nice gain for the Detroit Lions. I know in visiting with Jason Garrett on Friday, he talked about this screen game. And yeah, you got to worry about Calvin Johnson, but they make you defend the entire field. And a big reason for that is what they're able to do with the screen game.
Hand off to Bell. Good work by Joyce Bell. And Joink, who went to college in Detroit at Wayne State, was a security guard for the Lions during their training camp and on campus, has 9 yards, and he's off to a good start.
He sure is, and we've talked about Tony Romo's month of December. Well, Joyce Bell has been outstanding in the last 4 games as well. This is a running game that had been very inconsistent throughout the year, but as they went down the last month, they have gotten better and better at running the football.
They'll try it again. Joyce Bell's got a first down. They had only 5 100-yard rushing games all year, but 3 of them came in December. Bell's been a big part of that, and he carries it for another first down, and they're inside the red zone.
Yeah, and Rod Marinelli, defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, cannot be happy with what he has been watching. He prides himself so much on their ability to make tackles. They preach it every single day, but there has been a number of missed tackles here in this first half.
Stafford in trouble. Able to escape and throw it away. There has not been a 99-yard touchdown drive in postseason in 12 years. And why they have this opportunity, Detroit, is because of that penalty on Dakota Watson running into the leg of the punter Sam Martin. And here they are about to execute their 14th play on this drive.
There's Calvin Johnson. Brandon Carr lined up opposite of him.
Fake the throw, hand off to Reggie Bush. Nice move. Bush gets a block. Reggie Bush is in for the touchdown. Great block by Golden Tate. And the Lions have sent a first quarter message here in Arlington, Texas.
It's a great block by Golden Tate. You're right. I mean, he's not just a receiver. He prides himself on doing some of the dirty work. And you see, he looks up J.J. Wilcox, and without that block, Reggie Bush does not score this touchdown. What a move right here by Reggie Bush to even get to the outside. But he scores because of the block by Golden Tate. Corey Fuller on the outside as well. That's an outstanding job of driving the football from the 1-yard line for a touchdown with a little bit of help.
And again, the first 99-yard touchdown drive during the postseason in 12 years. So impressive. And for the Dallas defense, so unimpressive. The penalty, the missed tackle on third down. Lions having fun in Texas, leading by 14. Fantastic drive put together by Detroit. 14 plays, over 99 yards. Started at the 1-foot line. The fourth down penalty, Stafford's 9-yard run on a 3rd and 8. The missed tackle by Patman. And a 14-0 lead. And for the 3rd time, the drive for the Cowboys will start at the 20. You want pressure? You want more pressure. It's all on Tony Romo and the Dallas offense. Great start for the Lions offensively, up 14. 3rd possession for Dallas, down 14, starting at the 20. See if the Cowboys stick with the run on this drive. They start with a pass. They've got Witten, and Jason Witten's got a first down. And we send it down to Chris Myers.
Joe, I was talking to Jim Caldwell before the game, and he said when he addressed his team last night, he told his players, play your game, but lean on the teammate next to you with experience. And he counted the number, 26 of players on this Lions team with playoff experience. And it's no accident he involved Golden Tate and Reggie Bush early. They have Super Bowl rings. They're their first year with the Lions, hoping to provide success.
Chris, thanks. First down for Dallas on the completion to Witten. And now it's Murray. Scott Linehan, Troy, was the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions from 2009 to 2013. He talked about how what they want you to do is abandon the run. Even as good as they are against the run, now it's a 14-point hole. But he said we have got to stick with the running game.
Yeah, in fact, he compared this defense to the one they faced earlier in the year in St. Louis against the Rams. They got down 21 points in that game. They stuck with the running game. Scott Linehan said, hey, you can't get away from the running game when you're down because these guys, this defense is capable of putting a lot of pressure on you.
Here's pressure, ball is out. And it is recovered by Dallas as Tony Romo was hit by Darryl Tapp. It was knocked out by Tapp. Ansah was there. A loss of 6, and the Cowboys are going nowhere fast.
Well, the Lions, they show pressure, but then they pull out. It's still just a 4-man rush, and it has been throughout this first half, and yet they've been able to get to Tony Romo. The Cowboys fortunate once again to be able to get back on this ball.
And with under 10 seconds to play in this opening quarter, it's 3rd down and 12. Last play of the quarter, Romo has to step up, stays upright, and has Witten, who's got a first down. And that's vintage Tony Romo as the first quarter comes to a close. So after losing it on the hit by Tapp, and that ball tipped by Jason Jones, a completion for a first down. Back after this as we go to the second. We begin the second quarter, a first down for Dallas. After the tip completion to Jason Witten on 3rd down. Here's Murray, can't make the catch with Levy on his back. Let's go back to Romo. When the ball came out, he got that right hand crunched. And they hit by Darryl Tapp. And as you watch that, realize that Dez Bryant, who led the NFL in touchdown catches at 88 receptions, so far has one catch in this game, and he fumbled at the end of the run after the catch, so he's been a non-factor.
Well, they were wanting to take a shot to him on that last playoff play action, but the Lions do a nice job of covering it up.
Rashean Mathis right now, the starting left corner for the Lions, out with a hamstring. Cassius Vaughn has taken his place. Jailbreak, and Romo goes down. It's a Hedebo with a sack, but he was not alone. And this offensive line has been overwhelmed by Detroit.
Well, this is what Tony Romo has to see. They bring Jamesy Hedebo off the edge, and you're going to see Jason Witten turn, just throw him the ball. That's what you've got to do when they bring more guys than you can block. Instead, Romo tries to spin out of it, but Hedebo is able to get to him.
All the talk about this good young offensive line. 2 All-Pros, 3 Pro Bowlers. And Romo's been hit almost every time he's dropped back. 3rd and 19. Romo down the middle. Pass is low and no signal yet, incomplete for Terrence Williams. The back judge came in, called it incomplete. It's 4th down, and more good work by Terrell Austin, the coordinator in this Detroit defense.
He's mixed it up pretty good. A lot of 4-man rushes there on the last play. We saw him bring a little bit more pressure. He says he's going to be calculated on when he brings it because he knows what he's dealing with on the outside with Dez Bryant. But he has called an excellent first half of football defensively for these Lions.
Another punt from Jones. Gets off a good one. Fair catch back near the 10, about the 11 by Jeremy Ross. And a good punt of 51 yards, but the Lions have it back. Frustration here with the Cowboys. It's been all Detroit, up 14.
His Game on Fox is sponsored by Chevrolet. Find new roads. By KFC, the world's best chicken. How do you KFC? And by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side.
They don't mess around with high school football in Texas, that great facility at Highland Park High School where Matthew Stafford went. Bobby Lane, Hall of Famer, one of the all-time great Lions, one of the all-time greats in the game, went there as well. And speaking of somebody tough, they said about Lane, the biggest month in UFC history continues on January 18th with another full card of bouts. UFC Fight Night coverage begins Sunday, January 18th at 10 Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. 2nd and 9. Third possession for the Lions. Stafford has to pull it back, and he's got Bell out of the backfield. Well played by Kyle Wilbur. A gain of 3, 3rd down coming up.
Well, you show Matthew Stafford's high school right there in Dallas, Texas, and he has had some success against the team that he grew up rooting for when he has played them. He's had dramatic comeback wins the last 2 times that they have played. Now he's playing with a 14-point lead, but I think there is something about going against this team that he feels good about. Playing at home in front of family and friends, he has gotten off to a great start.
3rd down and 6. Stafford steps up. He's got Tate. Tate's got a 1st down and more. Golden Tate, who has a touchdown in this game with a 1st down at the 32, a gain of 17.
This time it's Barry Church who's in a position to just level Golden Tate after the catch, and he overruns it also. Just seen too many times they've overplayed some of those inside breaking routes. Earlier, Golden Tate was able to score a touchdown. They're on the first possession. They've had guys in a position at times to make plays. They've just been unable to make them, Joe.
Barry Church, a guy who was upset still this week and talked about a hit that Golden Tate made on teammate Sean Lee a couple of years ago. Called it a dirty hit. Tate was not penalized for that hit, but was fined $21,000. That's when Golden laid the hit on a blindside block on that man, Sean Lee, who's out for the year with a torn ACL, and there it is. That was 2012 at a meeting in Seattle between the Cowboys and the Seahawks.
Well, we've already seen Golden Tate. If you're anywhere pursuing the football, you better know where he is. He's going to put a hit on you.
Weird start to the play. Pass caught. Calvin Johnson. He's got a first down, and haven't you, Troy, been waiting for this Lions offense to look like they've looked in this first half? It really has been tough all year for this group.
This is the best I've seen him, Joe, and I think back to last week when Stafford was a little off. I think the conditions and maybe the moisture there at Green Bay kept him from completing some of the balls that he had opportunities to complete. Joe Lombardi has mixed things up. They've been able to run the football. They're mixing in the passing game. Matthew Stafford has been on. And as this game wears on and these Lions offensively and defensively continue to have the success they're having, they're only going to grow in their confidence.
They fake the end around again. Stafford in trouble and is brought down from behind. It'll go down as a sack, and it's Jeremy Mincey, a loss of 2.
Well, this time they try to run play action and take a deep shot down the field. The Cowboys handle it beautifully. They've got Barry Church and J.J. Wilcox deep on Calvin Johnson. And even the intermediate throw wasn't there. But Jeremy Mincey's able to get the pressure on Stafford and just about got the ball out.
Well, Mincey's played great this year. The unrestricted free agent they brought in from the AFC champion Broncos makes it 2nd and 13. Stafford steps into it down the sideline and not on the same page with Corey Fuller. Now 3rd and 13.
Corey Fuller, one of those guys who they had to rely on quite a bit when Calvin Johnson was dealing with his ankle injury and had to miss some time. But during recent weeks, he hasn't had a reception in the last 5 ball games.
Detroit 2 for 3 on 3rd down. They face 3rd and long here. Stafford protected, steps up, lets it fly down the sideline and broken up. Intended for Golden Tate, well played by Brandon Carr. 4th down.
Saw Matthew Stafford scramble a little bit earlier for the first down. He had a lot of field. I don't know if he would be able to pick up the 13 yards, but he's got one-on-one outside with Tate and Brandon Carr. And Brandon Carr, who's not playing with a great deal of confidence, makes a nice play on the ball. You see out in front of Stafford. But a good job getting off the field for Dallas.
Martin hits it. They stay away from Martin this time, and it's Harris with a fair catch inside the 15. So finally the Dallas defense steps up. They get a stop on 3rd down. Cowboys have it down 14. Some preseason headlines. Jerry Jones admits long odds for the Cowboys this year. Romo isn't right. The Cowboys are doomed. With more questions than answers, Cowboys look like a 5-win team. You can read the last one for yourself. It was hard, Troy, coming into the season, being honest about the Cowboys finding 6 wins, and they end up with 12.
Yeah, they end up with 12 and surpassed everybody's expectations, even their own owner in Jerry Jones. And yet, now that they're in the playoffs as well as they have played, expectations are sky high.
They've come out with a thud so far. Here's Murray. Finally gets one. He's got a first down, and he drives forward across the 30. Went right through Glover Quinn, and the Cowboys need to get that ground game going.
Now they get the big double team right here with Ron Leary and Tyron Smith in the middle, and that helps open up the lane. Dwayne Harris, he helps out as well. It's one-on-one on the safety. Glover Quinn, an outstanding job.
Had 4 carries for 8 yards before that 18-yarder. Stay with it. And this time stepping up as Jones makes the play. Good work up front. Couple of injury updates. They're looking at Rolando McClain. Looks like concussion protocol on the sideline for Dallas. Meanwhile, Rashean Mathis, the starting corner, for Detroit. At the moment, out with a quad injury. We said hammy earlier, but they've changed it to a quad injury, and his return is questionable. 2nd and 9. That's Harris looking for a block from Des Bryant. Nice move. And got about as much out of that as he could. Wayne Harris good for 6. Brought down by Glover Quinn. 3rd down coming up. Des Bryant, a non-factor to this point. Unrestricted free agent to be. He's got to catch 2 yards and a fumble.
Well, they're going to try to give as much help as they can to Des Bryant, but there are going to be those opportunities, especially if they're able to get this running game going, to where he's going to have some looks and some chances.
Dunbar in motion. 3rd down and 3. Pass caught. That's the security blanket. Witten covers up out to midfield. To hear Whitehead on the tackle, a gain of 12 to a guy who will end up in Canton, Ohio in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, really a great career by Jason Witten. And talked about Des Bryant and some of the things that they're doing against him. They're going to put someone over the top, give him some help, not allow him to run free. We've seen the year that he has had. He's as physical a receiver as there is in the entire game. But with that help, you open up the things to Jason Witten like they just were able to get on 3rd down.
Cowboys 3 for 6 on 3rd down. Back to the ground game. That's Murray. Lowers his head into the gut of Ehedebo. And a gain of 3.
Hey, James Ehedebo, he's had a nice first half in this game. I mentioned it moments ago that last week against Green Bay, I don't think anybody played very good, but they benched him for some of the missed tackles that he had. He also had some busts in coverage. But he has come into this game. He's tackled well. He had the sack. He's done a really nice job responding, as this entire defense has here today. But the Cowboys are having a nice drive offensively, and those are some tough yards for DeMarco Murray, but he's gotten them.
They come to the blitz. Romo is sacked. It's Whitehead who got through, and they telegraphed that blitz and still got through to bring up 3rd down and long.
Well, they moved the defensive end at the last minute down, and that occupies then the left guard, Ronald Leary. You're going to see the movement here and what that does, and then Whitehead has a free shot at Romo right up the gut.
So the protection breaking down for Romo. Now faced with a 3rd and 15. Romo protected, middle of the field, well short. Looking for Escobar. And that throw very short, and Romo goes right to Gavin Escobar to talk to him about that route.
I don't know if he was expecting a different kind of route, but I've seen a number of throws here in this first half where the ball's just not come out the way that you would expect. I don't know if the back right now is bothering him. He's obviously taking a lot of hits. He doesn't want to lead Escobar up the field too much because he's got safety help. I think he was expecting him to break it off a little bit flatter.
Here is Jones, the punter, going down. That's the reaction. Ball on the ground. And we'll see who comes away with it. Ross was back there, lost it. Looked like he got back on top, and he did. And the frustration starts to boil over. Brown wanted a flag for a hit on the punter, Chris Jones. They didn't get it. And on the other end, Ross had it, lost it. Here's why the crowd reacted. And here's the muff punt. But Wynn got on top of it. Lions have it at 14. We'll start at the 14 for the Lions. Up 14. Handoff is to Reggie Bush, and he's swallowed up in the backfield. We'll go back to the punt. We'll bring in Mike Pereira And what'd you think of no flag being thrown here as George Wynn came in on Jones?
Yeah, I think you have running into the kicker there. He makes contact with the body, not the plant leg. Penalty would have been declined, but to me, it is clearly a foul.
That's a right tackle, Cornelius
Full
Lucas.
start. Number 77 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
So now the Lions have made a couple of mistakes as they back up, and that'll bring the ball inside the 10 and a 2nd and 15.
Talked to Matthew Stafford about crowd noise and how you're able to handle it, and these offenses have just gotten so good at being able to still use the hard count even though they're going off of a silent count, not allowing their defense to get a bead. But right tackle that time left a little early.
Penalty flag is thrown. Looked like the play clock had expired.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Let's check in with Aaron Andrews and the status of Rolando McClain.
Rolando McClain back in the Dallas Cowboys locker room getting evaluated for dehydration and illness. Of course, he didn't travel with the team last week because he was really sick. They thought it'd be better to leave him home. Of course, we'll give you an update. But guys, I know you feel very good in that air-conditioned booth. It is very, very warm down here on the field.
Aaron, thanks. That video from moments ago as they were checking Rolando McClain on the sideline. He's now in the locker room. As she said, it's 2nd and 19. Stafford trying to set up a screen. That's Reggie Bush, and he draws a crowd. Picked up 1.5 yards. Crawford and Selvey were out there for Dallas. Now a big 3rd down coming up for each side with 3.5 to go in the half.
Yeah, I think Dallas was ready for that one. They talked about the screen game of the Lions and how much they like it, and 2nd and 19. You can bet you're going to get something like that, and Cowboys played it well.
3rd and 18. Again, this time for Joique Bell. Got a long way to go. And he won't get there. 4th down. Across the 15 to the 16. Picked up 10 and gets a little breathing room as he's brought down by Barry Church with 2:49 and counting to go.
Yeah, and that's all the Lions were trying to do, Joe, was get as many yards as they can to try to help flip field position. Good job defensively. Not a good offensive series that time by the Lions.
The Lions will start the second half with the football. They lead right now 14-0. The Dallas Cowboys offense has been off the entire first half. They need something to happen. Dallas does offensively in the final 2 minutes. Good punt. Fair catch. Called in by Dwayne Harris. There's a flag back near the line of scrimmage.
Holding. Number 90 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty. 1st down and timeout.
Now that'll back up Dallas. Makes it a little tougher. Over 2 to go. First half. Cowboys have it at home. Down 14. Ball is at the 26. 2:15 left. First half. Blitz coming. Romo throws. Williams makes the catch. 3 timeouts left for Dallas. 2-minute warning coming up. And an opportunity here for a team that went 12-4 on the year, 8-0 on the road, but 4-4 at home. There's not a Dallas fan in this stadium that cares about a 12-4 record. They're saying, here we go again. A chance for Romo to answer his critics here today. Not off to a good start. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Inside here at AT&T Stadium, 2nd and 2. 3 timeouts left for Dallas. Blitz. Pass is short again to Beasley. And before a 3rd down and 2 comes your way, we remind you, as always, aerial coverage is provided in this game by Nationwide. And there's that western sun, Troy, that is going to be setting and Going to be a glare in the eyes of Tony Romo as he looks downfield.
Well, this is an important possession right now. It's an important third down, for the Cowboys offensively. They haven't been able to do much, and still with plenty of time and all 3 of their timeouts, to be able to come away here in this first half with any kind of points would be huge in changing the momentum at halftime.
Just got it away. 3rd down and 2. That's Witten. Penalty flag flies. Looks like Terrence Williams was looking for a flag.
I think they might call Terrence Williams on the play. I think we'll see what the call is, but it doesn't to me look like there should have been anything.
Offensive pass interference, number 83, offense. 10-yard penalty remains, 3rd down.
So they do call Terrence Williams for offensive pass interference. Mike Pereira is studying the play down to our left, and it takes away a 1st down. What'd you see?
Well, I'll tell you what, you do have a block downfield, but he was chucked by the defender into the contact. I think that's one I would like to let go.
Yeah, I think, Mike, you see those routes all the time, and we all know that there's an element of that within each play, but he's trying to run a route and then he collides. I don't think there was anything intentional there. What a tough call.
That's a big 1st down taken away. Romo fires. He gets it anyway. And more. Williams gonna go. Cowboys are on the board. Touchdown, Terrence Williams.
Terrence Williams, he runs a deep in route, and you see there Cassius Vaughn falls down, and Jamesy Hedebo, who's had a nice first half, he overruns it this time, and Terrence Williams with a huge play for the Cowboys here at the end of this first half.
He says, I see your offensive pass interference call, and I raise you a 76-yard touchdown. And just like that, Bailey in to add the extra point. It's a 7-point game, but Detroit has all 3 of their timeouts remaining, and Matthew Stafford about to go back to work. The quick strike from the Cowboys, now down 7. 2015 NFL Pro Bowl is fantasy football for real. Hall of Famers Michael Irvin, Chris Carter will select the teams at the Pro Bowl draft on Wednesday, January 21st. Watch it live from Arizona, home of Super Bowl 49 on Sunday, January 25th. Go to NFL.com/Pro Bowl to learn more. Cowboys' first 25 plays gained 80 yards. The last one, 76. And the touchdown for Terrence Williams. Cowboys get some life, but now Matthew Stafford with a chance to answer. The drive will start at the 20, up by 7. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee. What's coming up at halftime?
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, we'll break down the game you're enjoying from there in North Texas, and we'll get our guys involved. Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, Michael Strahan, and of course, Jimmy Johnson.
Hey, Kurt, we've got work to do. Get back in here.
Oops, I gotta go. It's all coming up on the Visa Halftime.
That's coming up. 3 timeouts remaining for Matthew Stafford, who's had a good first half. Quick throw. That's Riddick. And a guy you really like, Troy, as he's wrestled to the ground by Barry Church, gain of 7.
Yeah, he's done some really nice things when he's had his opportunities. He just doesn't get a lot of them, but he's outstanding out of the backfield. And for all the attention that Calvin Johnson brings, a guy like him can create some fits for a defense.
On 2nd down, Stafford, there he is again, Riddick. Room to run, and gets brought down from behind by Lawrence. Marcus trying to knock it out, could not. A gain of 13, and drive off to a good start as the Lions take their first time out.
Well, the Cowboys defensively are doing what you would expect, and that is they're playing prevent defense. They're rolling up on the outside. They got 3 guys deep behind it. And when a defense does that, then you've got to take the underneath throws, and that's exactly what Matthew Stafford has done. He's got a couple of nice gains And now with still 2 timeouts left and over a minute to play, plenty of time here in this first half. So as much as that meant to the Cowboys being able to score that touchdown, the Lions can turn things around quickly to end this first half if they're able to come away with some points.
First down from the 40. Stafford, Riddick. No flag. Lions looking for one. Sideline was uptight, looking for a hold defensively. Instead, with Bruce Carter on coverage, a little left arm. That's what Riddick felt and what the sideline saw, but no flag. 2nd and 10.
He definitely got his left arm around him, but Bruce Carter, who's played football the way they had anticipated when they drafted him in the 2nd round back in 2011.
Blitz. 2nd and 10. Lions pick it up. Pass caught after a juggle by Calvin Johnson. So they bring a blitz. They leave Johnson one-on-one with Brandon Carr, and Calvin wins that battle easily.
Well, Cowboy fans remember what that matchup looked like last week. Calvin Johnson almost not able to secure that catch, but one-on-one safety rotates to the middle of the field. Matthew Stafford knows it. But last year, 14 catches, 329 yards receiving for Calvin Johnson, and Brandon Carr was singled up on him a good part of that afternoon.
First down at the Dallas 41. Back out of the blitz. Stafford out to his right, just throws it away, and then gets popped. Hit at the end of the play by Anthony Spencer. Coming this week is Empire, starring Terrence Howard as a hip-hop mogul, and Taraji P. Henson as his just out of prison ex-wife. Featuring some amazing music. Empire premieres this Wednesday here on Fox, and let's take a look at that hit on Stafford by Spencer.
You always get a little nervous when your quarterback has his right arm extended, and that's when he's then taking the hit. But Stafford popped right up.
Stafford's proven a lot of things over the years. One of them, he is tough. Stafford throws it low but caught. That's Corey Fuller to make it a manageable 3rd down, and to get the Lions right now on the edge of field goal range. It'd be 54 from this spot.
I like the Lions not calling a timeout here on 3rd down and keeping the play alive.
Can they convert on 3rd and 5? Stafford throws, pass caught. Golden Tate, where are they going to mark him? They're going to mark him a half-yard short of a 1st down. It's 4th down. With 21 seconds left, and will Jim Caldwell hope for a challenge from the replay official? Will he bring in the field goal unit or go for it? And the answer is Prater. Number 5, the former Pro Bowler with the Denver Broncos, who was signed the first week of October. And they may look at this one upstairs to see exactly where Tate went out. He's in there, and they may move this spot.
Yeah, I think so, Joe.
Mike Pereira is down to our left. It looked like that right foot stayed in, Mike, and Golden Tate may have picked up the 1st down.
Yeah, it did, and the key is going to be, do you have a shot that shows exactly where the ball is when it crosses the sideline? Because that's going to be the question. You're going to have to see a shot that shows where is the ball right about at this coming up point somewhere right there. So to me, you know, you look at the fact that you're going to move it forward. Is it enough for a 1st down, and is it enough to reverse? And remember what we've seen this year, Joe and Troy. A lot of staying with the calls on the field, and the percentages of staying with the call on the field are way up.
I don't know that you get a definitive look yet, but here's a pretty good look down the line. And he looks like he is out right at that marker. It's definitely further forward than where they marked him. And we'll see if they review it, and then, well, they're going to review it, but if they reverse it, which would give Detroit a 1st down with 2 timeouts and 21 seconds left.
Well, I understand what Mike is saying, but boy, from what I'm looking at, it looks like he got it.
And, you know, I would agree with
After
that.
viewing the play, the receiver put the ball out of bounds at the 30 and a half. The result of the play is a first down.
It's a good call.
Yeah, and again now, this is a good job. Remember, Dean Blandino in New York is involved in this decision, and since that left foot wasn't down and you knew the ball was still in play when the right foot was on the ground, they had enough to move it forward. That is a good reversal.
Again, 21 seconds left. 2 timeouts for the team up 7. Trying to stamp their ticket for a date with Seattle.
Well, you want to save 1 timeout for the field goal team, assuming you have to rely on that, but you've got an extra timeout. Allows you to work anywhere you want to on the field.
Stafford comes underneath. That's Reggie Bush. And he slides down just short of the 20. Timeout taken. And there's enough time left for Detroit if they want to take a shot at the end zone here. Let's be honest, as you look at Matt Prater, the kicking game has been anything but sure for the Detroit Lions. That's been an issue for the Lions really all season long. We welcome you inside our broadcast, but this is exactly the kind of start that the Detroit Lions needed defensively and offensively, and specifically for Matthew Stafford.
This is the best I've seen him really start both sides of the ball. At times we've seen the offense do all right, we've seen the defense do all right, but not collectively. Now the defense did give up the long drive, you know, to the Cowboys, which was an outstanding job by the Cowboys' part, coming away with a touchdown, but this is a heck of a drive by Matthew Stafford in this offense.
2nd down and 1, 9th play of this drive. Still a timeout left. Stafford steps up, end zone, and broken up, nearly picked by the team leader in interceptions, Bruce Carter. Now 7 seconds left, and how much more the Lions want to play with this.
Well, you get a good look at what Matthew Stafford saw, and I think Bruce Carter was kind of hidden behind the receiver, and Stafford didn't see him, and then he came off of coverage and had a great opportunity to end this drive.
Yeah, I think this is a good decision here by Jim Caldwell. It comes a little bit late. They kept the offense out there, but with 7 seconds left, you're really playing with fire if you don't take the points right here. 39-yard try. And a timeout taken by Detroit as the play clock is about to expire. It's their final timeout. The divisional playoffs get kicked off next week, and we know a couple of the matchups. As Martin, who will hold it for Prater, comes over to talk. We know in the AFC it'll be Baltimore at New England. It'll be Indianapolis at Denver. We don't know yet because a lot depends on the outcome of this game. He says, wait a minute, there it is. There it is, Troy, the graphic. And if it's Detroit winning here, they go to Seattle. If not, Dallas goes to Green Bay, and Carolina goes to Seattle. 39-yard try here for Prater. Low snap, and Prater is good. Just got it inside the left upright, and a great hold by Sam Martin, who took that bad snap and got it up.
Boy, no kidding, because this ball was low and he's able to get it set just in time, and when it left Prater's foot, I thought it was going to be wide left. This thing had a little slider on it, came back in just inside that left upright.
And a 10-point lead basically at the half. 3 seconds left in the first half, and what a good job. And I don't know how he ended up getting that ball on its nose, but a kick by Prater. During the regular season, the Lions were 25 of 38 kicking field goals. They went through 3 kickers, Prater being the last. It was suspended the first 4 games of the regular season for violating the NFL substance abuse policy, and that's our look at extending the goalposts upward, and it clearly got inside the left upright for a 10-point lead.
Yeah, so once again, an excellent drive by Detroit offensively. Cowboys score, cut it to a 7-point game. And with time left on the clock because of the big play to Terrence Williams, they're able to drive down the field and extend their lead back to 10 points. That's huge for a team going in at halftime.
Just have to come out of this first half really impressed by the man who was tutored by that guy, Scott Linehan. Talking about Matthew Stafford. There's the drive. And a 10-point lead. The Lions, by the way, will get the ball to start the second half. Squib kick. Clock starts now. That's Dunbar. That's the end of the half. So it's the number 6 seed on the road, a team that struggled on the road against winning teams, leading by 10 over the number 3 seed Dallas Cowboys. Take a break. Visa halftime coming up after this from your local Fox station. His excitement is brought to you by Nissan.
It's your time. It's your time. To get it.
That was today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. There's the score, 17-7 at the half. Lions about to get the ball to start this second half. The number 6 seed trying to upset the number 3 seed. The Lions defensively are playing like the number 2 defense in the NFL. The Cowboys offensively not playing like the number 7 offense in the NFL. Bailey kicks it away with Jeremy Ross waiting for it. He will take a knee. And we'll take you down to Aaron Andrews.
Joe, thanks so much. Just spoke with Jason Garrett on the way out, and he said for us offensively, it all starts with our offensive line. He said Detroit just got way too much pressure on us, was able to sack Tony Romo. We weren't able to get the running game going as well. But he said the good news, they are going to stay persistent with it. They have to. He said he felt DeMarco Murray got really loosened up in the second quarter. They're going to stick with it. One more note for you, though, on the defense for Dallas, Rolando McClain out with an illness.
Out halfway into his first playoff game in his career. Had a good year. Here's Stafford, play action in the air. That ball picked, Wilbur. And the first turnover of the game is into the arms of Kyle Wilbur. And the Cowboys take over.
Like Matthew Stafford's trying to take a shot down the field, and Jeremy Mincy, who's working against left tackle Riley Reif, is able to get into the middle and into the lane, gets his left hand up and deflects the pass. This Cowboys defense has given up yards. They've been outstanding creating takeaways all season. They just got their first of the game.
They forced 31 turnovers. The Dallas defense this season, second only to the Texans. 13 turnovers they forced in December, and that is about as big as it gets. Starting at the 19. Showing blitz. Handoff is to Murray. Almost broke through. Still a good run on first down to 5 yards. Jason Jones on the tackle. And we heard what Aaron said, what Jason told her. We have got to stick with the ground game after they rushed for a season-low 30 yards in the first half.
Yeah, I think they got away from it there in that first half. DeMarco Murray just 7 rushes through the first 30 minutes, and we saw the pressure that Tony Romo was under. I don't think there's any doubt they've got to continue to feed him the ball.
Delayed handoff Murray. He is going to be wrapped up 2 yards shy of a first down. I thought last week when we were in Green Bay, the Packers came out against this Lions defense and said, we know the reputation, but we're going to run it right down your throat. And they did exactly that, as this defense allowed a season-high 152 rush yards. We've seen a team run on the Lions.
Well, we have, and other than, though, the 18-yard run that DeMarco Murray had, this Lions defense has really been able to shut him down. But as Scott Linehan said coming into the game, you got to continue to feed him the ball, but they didn't do that in the first half.
Third down and 2. Romo is in trouble and sacked. Brought down by Ziggy Ansah. And And with Romo holding the ball, the offensive line eventually breaks down, and it's 4th down. Good work by the Lions.
That's a good job by the offensive line. I mean, you just can't expect to have that kind of time. Des Bryant looked like Romo was trying to come back to him, and he goes down. Jason Witten working in the middle of the field, but plenty of time there for Romo to try to find somebody. The sack doesn't hurt him, doesn't take him out of field goal range, so Romo hung in there as long as he could, waiting for someone to free themselves up.
41-yard try for the guy who is the most accurate field goal kicker in NFL history, and he pushes it. A huge miss by Dan Bailey, and the Cowboys come up empty after the Kyle Wilber interception. That 4th sack was big, picked up by Ansa, and it's still a 10-point game here in Arlington.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Papa John's, official pizza sponsor of the NFL. By Bank of America. And by the Dodge Brothers. 100 years later, their spirit lives on.
Played his entire 11-year career with the Dallas Cowboys, Roger Staubach. Misfire there for Dallas offensively. Great work by Detroit. Here's Joique Bell. And Bell on 1st down over the left side picks up 4, and we'll check in down on the field with Chris Myers.
Joe, and Ndamukong Suh, double teamed as usual in the first half, was able to get a few more plays off with the Lions lead, so he'll be more rested here in the second half. The only touchdown the Lions allowed was in the area where Rashean Mathis, their corner, was out with the quad injuries on the bike trying to get back in the game. He's still questionable. Offensively, Jim Caldwell said we need to run the ball better. I'm not going to dial it back with Matthew Stafford, but we're going to focus on the run in the second half.
2nd down and 6. Quick setup and throw. Pass caught. And a 1st down fought for by Pettigrew. A down year for Brandon Pettigrew, who had just 10 catches all season, but he fights for 11.
Well, that's just his 2nd catch in 10 weeks. He has not had many opportunities. He's been used primarily as a blocker, but he picks up a nice 1st down there on that play. And we heard Chris Myers talk about running the football, try to take the air out of the ball a little bit. But Joique Bell overall, it's been tough yardage, but he's ran pretty well.
7th different receiver that Stafford has found in this game. He's got a 1st down. He hands off to Reggie Bush, right side, and hanging on is Brandon Carr, who's become a better tackler this season. So says Rod Marinelli, and no gain. He was lucky to hang on to the ball.
Yeah, that handoff, we saw that last week in that game against Green Bay with Joique Bell. That ball was high. When anytime you put the ball up on the back breastplate of his shoulder pads, makes it a little bit tough on him. But you're right, Brandon Carr, if you're going to play corner for Rod Marinelli, you better be willing to stick your face in there and make a play.
Second down and 10. Crowd not a factor at all. Stafford throws, sideline. Calvin Johnson gets away from Brandon Carr. And Calvin Johnson with a big play here in quarter number 3. Wilcox forces him out after a 28-yard catch and run.
Well, J.J. Wilcox goes to the middle of the field. So as a quarterback, you then know you've got one-on-one everywhere else, and you get the matchup that you're really hoping for. And anytime you get one-on-one and it's a pass, and Brandon Carr is in coverage against Calvin Johnson, I guarantee you where Matthew Stafford's throwing the football.
So the Cowboys, after the interception, started their last drive in the red zone. After the turnover, got no points. With a missed field goal by Bailey, and now the Lions trying to really make it hurt. Here's Reggie Bush on 1st down. He picks up 4, brought down by Jeff Heath.
Joe, you go back to the way this defense started the second half, and getting the interception by Kyle Wilber and giving the ball to the offense with great field position. Disappointing enough not to come away with a touchdown, but then to not come away with any points whatsoever. Forget what it means on the scoreboard. It is absolutely deflating for a football team not to come away with any type of points. That was huge.
Now 2nd and 6 for the Lions. Stafford in control. Handoff to Bell. And Joique Bell takes it to the 20, maybe the 19, picked up 3. Brought down by Josh Brent. 3rd down coming up.
Well, I know in visiting with Jim Caldwell, you're going I asked him, other than the turnovers and takeaways and whoever wins that battle, what do you think is going to determine the winner of this ball game? And he said it's real simple. It's whoever wins in the trenches. And that's the way most football games are won and lost. And we were really looking forward to this matchup against the Cowboys offensive line and the Detroit Lions defensive front. But this offensive line has done a nice job for this team also.
Even with 2 starters injured, 3rd down and 3. Stafford looked left, down the middle, and incomplete. Golden Tate got tangled up with Skandrick. No flag. It's 4th down.
I think that was a good no call. You're going to see it for yourself as Skandrick is in man-to-man coverage and the feet get tangled up and incidental contact. I agree with there not being a flag. With all the room there was in the middle of the field, Golden Tate, if he breaks that thing off with an angle on the route, he gives Matthew Stafford really a nice place to throw the football.
Mike Pereira agrees with you. Good no call. Now a 39-yard try for Prater. He moved it up now to 37. He's hit from 39, now trying from 37. Better snap. The kick is good. And it's now a 13-point game here in Arlington. Detroit up 27. Aerial coverage provided by Nationwide on this crisp January day in the Dallas area. We are in Arlington, Texas. 8:41 left in this 3rd quarter. It's now a 13-point game after a 37-yarder hit by Matt Prater following the Dan Bailey miss after the interception. Big turn of events. And the Lions continue their impressive play on both sides of the ball. Wayne Harris is going to try and deliver a jolt. Tries the far side, breaks a tackle, and is forced out near the 20 by Darius Slay. Take a break, come back. As the sun sets here in Texas after a 25-yard return, the Cowboys, lacking life, need a spark.
This game is sponsored by Verizon. Get the good more this holiday season with the best end-of-season deals on great tech gifts.
Well, what's it going to be for this Dallas offense down by 13, starting at the 20-yard line? Out of the shotgun, over the middle, pass is caught. Murray breaks 1 tackle. And a nice play and gain on 1st down of 7 yards. There's been pressure on number 9 all day.
Yeah, there really has, and the Lions have done it a lot of different ways. They've brought just 4-man pressure, and they've been able to get to them, and then they've brought inside linebackers, and then they've even brought safety blitzes as well. And Tony Romo has just not been able to get comfortable in the pocket, and defensive coordinator Terrell Austin has dialed up a lot of different looks, but has presented a lot of problems for this offensive line that has been so stout all year long.
And off to Murray on 2nd and 3, and a nice gain out to the 35 and a 1st down for Dallas as they've run 31 offensive plays and Des Bryant has been targeted 1 time. The Lions have shut him down.
Well, this is that inside running game that Green Bay had success with last week, that if you're able to block the backside as Zach Martin was able to, you create some seams, and Eddie Lacy hit those in that game, and that's why he was the first runner all year that went for over 100 yards. They need to continue to get the ball to DeMarco Murray and see if he can't maybe wear this defense down.
Here's a toss to Murray running right, cuts upfield. DeMarco Murray has got another 1st down across the 45. And DeMarco Murray, fumbling's been an issue. He has 5 lost fumbles, a little careless with the ball, hanging it out, but he picks up 13.
Yeah, he gets really loose, and you're right, he's had a problem with putting the ball on the ground, but a nice gain there. Just good blocking all the way around. Travis Frederick, the center, he gets downfield, and Des Bryant, who, as you said, he's only got 1 reception in this game. He got involved in run blocking.
87.
They stick with the ground game. And DeMarco Murray gets no gain. Levy, 2nd-team All-Pro, great linebacker for Detroit, made the stop. Terrell Austin, you mentioned, he is on the radar of both the Falcons and the 49ers looking for a new head coach. Now the word is Buffalo as well. He is 49 years old, his first time as a defensive coordinator in the NFL.
Yeah, he rose up the ranks, you know, as far as once he started calling the defense, he got everybody's attention in the way that he's handled this defensive unit.
On second down, pass is incomplete. Cole Beasley had it for a moment, lost it. Now third down and 10, and yet another ball that comes out with the nose of it down, and Beasley could not hang on.
Yeah, I've seen a few of those, and you know, and one of the things that Romo has really worked on this year was going to his left and driving the football, and I don't want to get too mechanical with it, but he feels that it has really helped him. But that ball nosedived at the end of it, and a few of them have come out like that. It may just be something that slipped out of his hands. I don't know if it's back related or not, but not a really well thrown ball.
Now third down and 10, blitz coming. Romo has got Dez Bryant. Bryant's going to make a play. Big number 88. Still up. Down inside the 10.
And you feel like it's just a matter of time when you try to match him up. They got DeAndre Levy in man coverage across the field. And once he's not able to get him on the ground, this is the challenge. It's one thing to keep him from catching the ball. It's an entirely different challenge once he has the ball in his hands and then getting him to the ground. There's nobody who runs as good after the ball has been caught than Dez Bryant.
Cowboys were the number 2 red zone offense in the NFL and converting into touchdowns. 43-yarder to Dez Bryant. Now Murray. DeMarco Murray. Touchdown. But a flag is down, and it's a hold against Dallas.
Holding. Number 82 offense. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
They get Jason Witten for a hold, and let's take a look right there on Levy.
Yeah, hard to see. I know with Levy, the way that he's turning, well, he's got his right arm underneath Levy. That's a good call by the official. Jason Witten, who had a holding call last week that got a big run called back.
They actually threw 2 flags on it for an illegal shift. That's declined. The holding is accepted with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. The hold by Witten takes away a touchdown and brings up first and goal with the ball back at the 17. Romo, Beasley over the middle, and Cole Beasley takes it down just inside the 3. 14 yards working on the rookie Mohamed Cisse.
Well, Cisse has very poor technique on this play. The one place you can't get beat in that coverage is into the middle of the field, and Cisse overplays it. Cole Beasley comes off the ball, makes a nice move as though he's going to try to beat the defender to the outside. It opens up the lane. It's an excellent job by Cole Beasley.
And a timeout is taken by the Cowboys. Actually, now they say Detroit, and it was Jim Caldwell from the sideline as they had Ashley Palmer running onto the field late. That's why Caldwell called the timeout before a second and goal. Watch every NFL playoff game and Super Bowl 49 live on your smartphone with NFL Mobile. Biggest play on this drive, and certainly in the second half for Dallas, is the 43-yarder to Dez Bryant on third down and 10. For the second time he's been targeted in this game, and that set this up. Then the completion to Beasley. The ball's inside the 3 with second and goal.
And here's why Jim Caldwell had to call timeout. Dez Bryant, right here, he came out and nobody started to go with him. Caldwell recognizes it. Down here, when Dez Bryant gets near this goal line, you get any ball even near him. He's made some unbelievable catches in this area of the field.
On second and goal, pitch to Witten. And Witten down to the 1. Third and goal coming up. How about that?
Well,
I take by your reaction you weren't enamored with it.
Well, Josh Bynes, he does a nice job of making a play on it, but I think that what I've seen of DeMarco Murray this year, I think I'd rather hand the ball off to him.
Use that good young offensive line. Use the NFL's top back. Number 29, third down and goal from inside the 1. Here he is. And what a job by Detroit. They deny. And now it's 4th and goal. And we'll see what Jason Garrett wants to do.
Well, Ndamukong Suh, this does not surprise me at all that Jason Garrett is going to go for it. It's huge for them to come away with a touchdown on this drive. But this Detroit Lions defense, they did this just a week ago. Did you see Ndamukong Suh and the rest of them? He had a bow. He's in there. They stopped Green Bay last week on 4th and goal from the 1 as well.
Now 4th and goal from inside the 1. Murray cuts upfield. Touchdown. Cowboys back in it.
Two key blocks on the play. Fullback Tyler Klutz and then tight end James Hanna. Hanna gets the linebacker who's trying to fill the hole. Klutz kicks out. Touchdown Cowboys.
He led the NFL in yards from scrimmage. He led the NFL and set a Cowboy record with over 1,800 rushing yards. And now it's a 6-point game. Feels like we're headed for an exciting finish. 2:54 left, third quarter. Detroit up 6. 2015 NFL Pro Bowl fantasy football for real. Michael Irvin, Chris Carter select the teams. The Pro Bowl draft on Wednesday, January 21st. Watch the Pro Bowl live from Arizona, home of Super Bowl 49 on Sunday, January 25th. Go to NFL.com/Pro Bowl to learn more. Well, what's the answer going to be from number 9 for Detroit? The Dallas native. His team up 6. Crowd's back as the drive starts at the 20 for Detroit up 6. They start with Joyke Bell, and he gets to the line of scrimmage. That's it. Let's go down to the field and check in with Chris Myers.
Joe, in that last defensive series, the Lions were without a couple of their players. Defensive back Don Carey, linebacker Tahir Whitehead, both out with dehydration. They are questionable. On offense, tight end Brandon Pettigrew is questionable because of a concussion, and the rookie Eric Ebron has stepped in for him.
He's in the huddle, as is Kellen Davis. Another tight end, 2nd and 10.
It's a little bit tougher to run the ball for Detroit without Pettigrew in the lineup.
Fake it to Reggie Bush. Sidearm throw. That's Ebron, the rookie. He is going to be knocked down 2+ shy of a first down by Anthony Hitchens. Rookie on rookie. 3rd down and short coming up.
It's a heck of a throw right there by Matthew Stafford. You talk a lot about his launch angle sometimes when he throws it, but that time he had to lower the arm. He delivers a strike then to Eric Ebron.
He had Anthony Spencer in his face, 3rd and 2.
The Cowboys one-on-one. They can take a shot if they want to.
Stafford looking for Reggie Bush, incomplete. But a flag is down. A flag in the secondary.
There is no foul on the play for an offensive pass interference. Resulting play is incomplete pass, 4th down.
Either way, the flag was initially thrown for offensive pass interference. It is a 3 and out.
Yeah, it looked initially like, Joe, they might have called it on Barry Church as he lays out Eric Ebron, but because of it being a screenplay and he was actually engaged trying to block, that it was a good non-call. So an outstanding job once the offense is able to go down, come away with a touchdown on 4th and goal to force a 3-and-out here against the Lions.
Josh Bynes, a linebacker, was late to get out there on this punt team. Play clock at 9. Get it away. Martin hits it. Beautiful punt. And Dwayne Harris with a fair catch, and the Cowboys get it right back. Do you remember this, my friend? For Detroit, their last playoff win happened in January of 1992. It was in the divisional round against Dallas. Barry Sanders, how's that run? The 47-yard touchdown run, and Detroit beat the Dallas Cowboys 38-6 and then lost in the championship game to the Redskins the following week.
Well, Eric Kramer was their quarterback that season, had a great year. Barry Sanders, of course, and they had a tough outing the following week to the eventual champion Washington Redskins in the NFC Championship game.
You didn't start that game, but you did play, and now with the first down at the 31, here's Beasley with a catch on the move. Breaks a tackle. Good start to the drive. Out of bounds at midfield. Went around Cisse. And a 19-yard catch and run for Beasley.
Well, the Lions, for the better part of this game, have been pretty good at tackling the Cowboys once they've gotten the ball in their hands, whether that was DeMarco Murray or even after receivers have caught the ball. But you know, we saw the missed tackle on Dez Bryant, which set up the previous score, and then another missed tackle by Cisse against Cole Beasley.
Don Carey back in the lineup defensively for the Lions. Under a minute to go, third quarter. On the ground with Murray, he's going to bounce it. Carey's a tackler, and that tackler is Jones. A gain of 4, and if the Cowboys want the quarter to run out, they can let it, or they will snap it on 2nd and 6.
Tell you the move that DeMarco Murray put on second-year player Darius Slay. I mean, Murray is such a physical runner. He's as tough as nails. He's got some good moves too. You get him in open space, he's going to make people miss.
Fourth quarter of a 6-point game in this wild card matchup. Cowboys back in it. Bryant got him down there. Murray got it in. Back after this from your local Fox station. Fourth and final game on this wild card weekend. There have been 3 games played, 3 double-digit games this weekend. This one is not. 6-point game. Start of the 4th, 2nd and 5. Romo, Beasley, and he gets laid out, and that's going to draw a flag. Whitehead drilled him. He made the catch, he hung on, and little Cole Beasley, 5'8", 180 from SMU, somehow maintained the catch.
Unnecessary roughness, late hit, or to the head of the receiver, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yeah, that was an easy one to call. As you see, Tahir Whitehead comes in, launches himself right to the head, defenseless receiver. No gray area in that one whatsoever. A costly penalty by Detroit. And Cole Beasley, he's heating up as well. I know in talking with Tony Romo, he really felt like Cole Beasley was capable of being the guy in this ball game that created some advantages for them and could make some big plays, and he's been able to do that.
From the 18, Murray, right side. Good play, and we'll go back to that hit high on Beasley. Mike Pereira, you like the call?
Yeah, I do, because you've got a defenseless receiver here. Shoulder to the head and neck does not have to be the helmet. So the shoulder to that head or neck area makes that a foul, clear foul.
It's a vicious hit. And to hear Whitehead's defense, Beasley's only 5'8". So it's tough to get low enough to deliver that kind of a blow and not hit him above the neck. 2nd and 10. Romo protected, pulls it back. And now is brought down. And a big sack for this Lions defense. That's their 5th of the game. and a loss of 5. Sue got it.
Yeah, Sue got to him, and Romo had some time, and Cole Beasley actually runs a good route. He's trying to work Witten down the middle of the field. It's not there. But once Romo started to move, I thought they actually might have been able to call Zach Martin on a hold, but Sue's just got him by the jersey, and there are not many guys in America that can make that play. I mean, to be able to pull him to the ground with one arm, it shows you the strength of Ndamukong Suh.
Now 3rd down and 15. Romo in trouble again, and sacked again. And there he is, 2nd play in a row. And Ndamukong Suh. And Romo, instead of just cutting it loose, hangs on to the ball, and that moves the ball back just inside the 35. A loss of 10.
Just a 4-man rush once again, and Ron Leary, he gets driven back, but overall not a bad job. Again, Romo just trying to stay alive. But that's one you just got to unload. I mean, every yardage counts, and taking that sack could prove costly on this field goal attempt.
It'll be a 51-yard try after the last 2 sacks lost 15 yards. Bailey 0 for 1. And now 1 for 2. And it's a 3-point game. So the Cowboys come up with points. The Lions came up with 2 big sacks, and it's Ndamukong Suh who got it done. The lead is 3.
Game on Fox is sponsored by AT&T, mobilizing your world, and by State Farm. Pump up your savings with a discount double check today.
Dallas Cowboys trailed 14-0 after the first quarter, 17-7 at the half. Down 6 after the 3rd quarter. Now they trail by 3 with 12:16 remaining. Ross will bring it out. Well played. Ross brought down at the 5 by Spillman. And as we welcome you inside the broadcast booth, we will ask Troy about the quarterback play. We came on talking about the pressure on Romo and Stafford. Now we see Stafford on the field. Who do you think's played better to this point?
Well, I think as we talked about coming in, that there's been more that Matthew Stafford's had to shoulder because he doesn't have the great running game. But he has played outstanding. He had the deflected ball that was intercepted. This offense overall in this second half really hasn't done much. Now backed up. And this lead cut to 3 points. They need to find a way to do something.
They're going to start the drive with Joyke Bell, and he's wrapped up by Barry Church. Loss of 1. With Brandon Pettigrew back in the lineup for the Lions, it's 2nd down and 11.
And Barry Church, he's up around the line of scrimmage. He makes a nice tackle. Then on Joyke Bell, you're overselling on the run because you're backed up. You're betting that they're not going to take a shot down the field. If they don't pick up a 1st down, they give the ball to Dallas with great momentum. This crowd's into it with outstanding field position.
Out of the shotgun, looking for a quick throw over the middle. Pass caught. Big one. That's Fuller. And there's breathing room and a huge 1st down for the Lions as Fuller gets 21.
Yeah, the Cowboys, they played coverage expecting the pass, and so they double the outside guys. You've got to work the middle of the field. Corey Fuller then is that guy, and once he breaks his tackle, he can fly. So if he had been able to get any kind of space, J.J. Wilcox comes up and makes a play. If he doesn't, that's a touchdown.
Riddick in the backfield. They fake it to him. Stafford gets away from a sack, throws it, and it's batted back in his face. Knocked down by Carter after Anthony Spencer missed on a sack.
Yeah, Anthony Spencer has a great opportunity. They're trying to bring Pettigrew across the formation to help kick him out, but he's not there in time. You know, how Matthew Stafford's able to get out of this. Fortunate not to take a loss on the play.
Stafford 6'3", 234. 6th year in the NFL, looking for his first playoff win. Up by 3, 2nd and 10. Just got it away. Delayed handoff. Reggie Bush. Carter in to make the stop. Hitchens there as well. A gain of 2. 3rd and long coming.
Well, Bruce Carter has got great quickness and he's got good instincts, and they're starting to finally realize that from him. And Eric Ebron, who is not known for his blocking, he's trying to make a play and help. And if he makes the block, they've got something there. But Bruce Carter's able to get around it, make a big stop.
3rd and 8. Stafford backpedaling as he throws, and he's got Calvin Johnson. Good throw, good catch, working on Brandon Carr, and 19 yards on 3rd and 8.
This throw is really amazing. They've got 2 on Calvin Johnson, man underneath. Brandon Carr is able to trail the route. They know they've got help in if he tries to go deep. Stafford has to throw the perfect ball, and Carr not able to get his head around. That's an outstanding job between the quarterback and a wide receiver, where coverage would tell you weren't going to have much of a chance.
5th catch for Calvin Johnson, 85 yards. Reggie Bush left side. Brought down by Heath. Gain of 4. Under 10 to go in this game. 2nd and 6.
Well, this has already been a successful drive for Detroit offensively. I mean, they're backed up, and here they've gotten the ball to midfield, and they haven't had great field position for much of this game. And yet we've seen that they've been able to move the ball, and in the early part of this game they were able to come away with some touchdowns.
This drive started at their own 5. They're just short of midfield. 2nd and 6. Here's Bell left side. Bouncing it. Joy Bell. Wilcox drops him a yard shy of a 1st down. And those 2 start to push and shove on the sideline. 3rd and 1.
Well, big 3rd down here. And I wonder if it was 4th and 1 from here, if they didn't pick up any more yards, what Jim Caldwell might do.
So Rod Marinelli. First year coordinating this defense for Dallas. They fake the handoff. Stafford is incomplete. Flag is thrown. Pettigrew, the intended target, with Hitchens in coverage. Hitchens didn't get his head around, and we'll check and see what the call is.
I just couldn't tell if there was contact. There was a little bit of a grab. There was a little bit of contact in the
pass interference, number 59, defense, automatic 1st down.
It's a huge call, and we'll check in with Mike Pereira. You like the call?
I'll tell you, the key is if you're the official, you're looking to see if the defender is playing the ball. If he's not, and there is contact as the receiver reaches back for the ball, it is going to be in the defense. That's pass interference.
A huge call. And now they're going to pick up the flag.
Wow.
Boy, that was late. Have you ever seen that call picked up that late?
Not at all. Obviously, the guy that had the best angle also was the back judge that made the call.
Now it's 4th and 1. And the offense is out there for Detroit. So it not only surprises us, Mike, it surprises you.
Well, this was what I was waiting to see. I'm surprised they picked up the flag. I think it was the right call, as Mike Pereira said. And 4th and 1 with momentum shifting. Jim Caldwell wants to try to pick this one up, but man, if they don't make it, they're giving the ball to an offense to start to surge for Dallas with great field position.
Just trying to draw him offside. Cowboys didn't bite. And that is a huge
delayed game.
Pickup.
Offense. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Matthew Stafford had a word for Pete Morelli on his way off the field. And again, instead of a pass interference call against Anthony Hitchens, which would have given Detroit a first down as they lead by 3, the officiating crew picked up the flag late after the announcement had already been made.
Well, I like that Jim Caldwell has elected to punt it. You know, this defense has gotten them to this game, and overall they've been good here this afternoon. See if you can't pin Dallas deep and make them go the distance against this group.
A shank. This punt goes nowhere off the foot of Martin. And let's see where they mark it. A complete mishit. And they're going to mark it at the 41. It's a 10-yard punt. Here's the play. Initially, pass interference. Then they picked up the flag. The reaction by Des Bryant. He's back to work. Down 3. That song, No Apologies by Timbaland, featured in the new Fox show Empire. Well, we're going to talk about that no call on pass interference as Romo starts the drive with a pass to DeMarco Murray, who's got a first down inside Detroit territory. Mike Pereira, this is going to be, if Dallas wins this game, the most talked about play of the weekend. Why don't you take us through it again?
And I think we're going to talk about it because it is clearly pass interference and he's not playing the ball. But this could be part of the issue about the fact that this is not a crew that worked together all season long. It's the first time they've worked together. The trust factor is not necessarily there. And I still strongly believe that was not a good pickup of a flag.
First down, Dallas down by 3, under 7.5 to go. Murray right side. Ground game's been better in this second half. 2-yard pickup by Murray. Second down and 8 coming up. And while all the pressure's on these two guys wearing number 9, here's the opportunity for Tony Romo at the end of a great month of December. Offensive player of the month. The numbers just led the league in basically every category. He's not looked that sharp here today, but opportunity right now.
And right now with an empty backfield set, they'll be throwing it.
4-man rush. Pass is low and dropped by Witten. So now 3rd down and 8 coming for the Cowboys.
Yeah, big 3rd down here. We saw the first down run, picked up a couple yards there by DeMarco Murray. But on that previous possession, Joe, DeMarco Murray had started to get some things going. And then they got down in there close, and it was 3 straight passes, 2 of which on 2nd and 3rd down were sacks. It's a big 3rd down right here.
In case you're wondering, it would be a 62-yard try from this spot. They need more yards. Rashean Mathis back in the game for the Lions. Romo has it tipped. It's caught. Murray is able to pick up 1.5 yards. And now it's 4th down and a decision for Jason Garrett. Under 6.5 to go. It's 4th down and 6.
Yeah, the Detroit Lions, they gave help on the outside. Jamesy Hedebo, he did grab enough of Jason Witten. He's trying to get the flag. They don't get it.
And now the play clock is at 15 as the Cowboys show they're going to go for it.
Romo's trying to get him to raise the clock. They're going to have to call a timeout.
So 4th down and 6 for a Cowboy team that during the regular season went 3 for 6 on 4th down, and obviously no bigger 4th down than Jason Garrett has ever had as a head coach in the NFL. Good Big East doubleheader this Tuesday, starting with Marquette taking on Georgetown, followed by a huge conference showdown between 6th-ranked Villanova and 15th-ranked St. John's. It all begins Tuesday at 7 Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. As here the Cowboys are trying to take advantage of a 10-yard punt by the Lions and Sam Martin, but the defense for Detroit has been good on this possession so far.
Yeah, they have, and it's going to be interesting to see what Terrell Austin defensive coordinator for the Lions, what he dials up. We've seen him, as I've said, pressure with 4-man rush. They've brought linebackers and they've brought safety players. Are they willing to play one-on-one and bring extra guys in an attempt to force Romo to get the ball out of his hands? If you do that, you better watch out for number 88.
Down at the bottom of the screen. On 4th down, Romo. Over the middle, he's got Witten. Witten down inside the 25. 21 yards on 4th and 6.
Watch the top of this route by Jason Witten. He gives a move to the outside, boom, right there, and it completely forces Ihedebo to go with it, and that's what creates the separation. Just an outstanding route by a wily veteran. He's been doing it his entire career, and they needed something on 4th down, and he gave it to them.
They go to the guy who's number 2 all-time among tight ends in both receptions and receiving yardage. Now a 1st down with under 5.5 to go. Blitz. Murray. Well played. Play made by George Johnson. No gain on the play. 2nd and 10 as Johnson came up and made a big hit on DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, he sure did, because a lot of times we saw those linebackers hit the gaps, and well, you get through that initial wave as a running back and you can break it. But Johnson was there to able to make the play as they rest Sue on the sidelines. 2nd and 10 here. You got to think that this is a passing down for Dallas.
Romo. Beasley incomplete. Flag is thrown. Don Carey on the coverage.
Holding. Number 26 defense. Automatic. 1st down.
Every Lions fan is thinking, are they going to pick that one up too? That looks like a good call and a hold for the automatic 1st down.
Well, the Lions are not playing the technique on the inside receivers because of the coverage that they have behind them. The one place you can't get beat deep when you're giving help to the outside is the middle of the field, and Carey got beat then.
That's what's happened inside the red zone for the Cowboys. Number 2 in this spot during the regular season, converting into touchdowns. On 1st down, Des Bryant, well played. Bryant dragged to the ground by Rasheed Mathis, who we have shown out on the sideline riding the bike, trying to stretch out his quad. Gain of 3.
A veteran guy who's got over 150 starts in this league. Spent his first 10 years in Jacksonville. I know the rest of that team's glad to see him on the field.
Romo passes behind Escobar. He had Gavin Escobar inside the 5, and Romo misfired. It's 3rd down.
Wow, you can't get any more open than what Gavin Escobar does here. He runs a great route, and Romo had time. There was no pressure, and just a ball that's thrown behind him.
Missed chance there to set up 1st and goal from the 5. Now it's 3rd down and 7. Play clock at 13. On 3rd down, Romo finds Dunbar. Flag is thrown. Dunbar made the catch, and a flag is on the ground. Defensive hold.
Holding. Number 54 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
They get Levy, who's had a brilliant year, on a hold to give an automatic 1st down. And there's Levy, 54, bringing down Lance Dunbar, who was coming out of the backfield for that throw from Romo.
Yeah, I think Levy was expecting Dunbar to pick him up in pass protection, and as he started to go by him, he knew that he had to be covering him and just tackled him. That was a good call.
Now 1st and goal inside the 9, and these flags that are flying are killing Detroit, including one that flew and then was picked up. Romo, end zone, incomplete for Williams. That was a good throw from Tony Romo. No catch by Terrence Williams, covered by Slay.
You see Slay there one-on-one outside, a really well-thrown ball. Just Williams unable to get turned around and make a play. Just goes right through his arms, but a perfectly placed ball by Romo.
One of his better throws in this game. Now 2nd and goal. Cowboys have never led in this wild card matchup. Handoff inside. That's Murray down inside the 5. He takes it near the 3, where it's 3rd and goal, a gain of 5. Talk about tension in a stadium. It's tough to exhale in here right now with the way this game is unfolding. And these fans, over 90,000 of them packed in, holding their breath. 3rd and goal.
Des Bryant is one-on-one at the bottom of the screen.
Penalty flag, and it's a false start.
False start. Number 83 offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
So maybe what that 5-yard penalty does is take the run out of the mix, and they become a little more predictable.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Joe, is now you back them up a little bit. Now you're able to give a little bit of help, to the outside. I've seen this, as I said, a lot of times with Des Bryant one-on-one outside around the goal line, and he's a big target. He's aggressive going up and making a play. But right now they're working the safety his way because the run is not as big of a threat.
Third down and goal. Romo protected. End zone. Touchdown! Terrence Williams.
The Lions decide to go with a 4-man rush. The offensive line does an outstanding job of giving Romo time in the pocket. Terrence Williams, who's trying to work all the way across the field, he recognizes his quarterback's in trouble. He comes back out of the route, gives him a place to throw the ball in the back line. It's a great job of execution.
Come in talking about Des Bryant. He's made one big play. But Terrence Williams has a 76-yard touchdown, which got the Cowboys on the board. Now an 8-yard touchdown for Dallas's first lead of this playoff game. This place is louder than it's been all game. There's the drive. The 8-yarder to Terrence Williams for the lead. Bailey to kick it. It's Matthew Stafford's turn to try and answer his counterpart. Tony Romo, who got hit as he threw it. The reaction from his belly up 4. Starting from the 20, Golden Tate. Nice play by Carter. as Tate gets 6. Matthew Stafford knows how to beat the Cowboys late as Carter's slow to get up. They've had injuries at that linebacker level all season, starting with Sean Lee being lost early before the season started with a torn ACL, their middle linebacker. Now Carter, one of their best defensive players, needs help to get off the field. Here's the touchdown.
Now you see Terrence Williams as he's working across the field, and then he sees that Romo was in trouble, and he creates separation. And these receivers know that Tony Romo is able to extend plays and get the ball still down the field, and all they have to do is find a way to get open, and Romo pulls off the magic once again and gives this Cowboys team the lead.
Last 3 drives for Dallas: touchdown, field goal, touchdown. And here's the tackle on Golden Tate. You can see him grab his back, and now you know why. Outside of 2 minutes, no timeout charge, 2nd down and 4. Four-man rush. They get to Stafford. Ball is out. Cowboys have it. Now he loses it. And the Lions are back on top of it. DeMarcus Lawrence, the rookie, had it and lost it. Anthony Spencer initially knocked it out in what was ruled a fumble, and let's take a look. And it was out of the hand of Stafford, and if DeMarcus Lawrence
recovered by Dallas, then fumbled again, recovered by Detroit. Therefore, it'll be Detroit's ball, 1st down. Now we have the 2-minute warning at 1:59.
It's a 1st down because of the change of possession. Lawrence had it, lost it. Detroit has life. The 2nd-round pick from Boise State had it. DeMarcus Lawrence, if he just lays down, this game might be over. Instead, Garrett Reynolds, his hit knocked it out. Now Stafford with a chance, finds his rookie tight end, and Ebron is out of bounds on a 1st down catch, good for 6. And here's the fumble by the Cowboys, and because of the change of possession, it ends up a 1st down as Riley Reif recovers. And there's Leon Lett. For any Dallas Cowboy fan thinking about Leon, the assistant defensive line coach, he coaches the defensive tackles. Thinking about a Super Bowl fumble by Leon, or the Thanksgiving game fumble against Miami in the snow. 2nd and 4. Pass to Tate. Catch is made, and Tate wrestled down with a 1st down with under 2 minutes to play. 2 timeouts left for the Lions. Patman made that tackle.
Yeah, a lot of time on the clock for Matthew Stafford. That's what the defense is giving him right now. Those underneath throws, they don't want to give up the big play. Got to work the middle of the field.
This one is sidearmed over the middle to Calvin Johnson. Incomplete. He's done it twice. Matthew Stafford, kid who grew up in the Dallas area in Highland Park. He's done it twice to Dallas. He's done it 17 times and 43 opportunities in his career. And this is a Lions team with 5 late come-from-behind wins this season to get to 11 wins.
Well, both these quarterbacks relish this situation. We saw what Romo was able to do, and we'll find out about Matthew Stafford here.
Timeout taken by the Dallas Cowboys as they had only 10 men on the field. The divisional playoffs are kicked off next week. Here are the matchups, and what we don't know is what will happen on the NFC side. We know the matchups on the AFC side. If the Lions win here, they go to Seattle. If the Cowboys win here, they go to Green Bay. Those games on NBC and CBS. Minute 29 left, 2nd and 10. Setting up a screen for Riddick. Has blocking in front of him. And Theo Riddick out near midfield. He takes it into Cowboy territory, knocked down at the 49, a gain of 15.
Boy, they set up the screen nicely too with Rob Sims, the guard out in front. They tried the screen game earlier. in this ball game, and then they've gotten away from it a little bit, and now they dial it up on this important drive, and an excellent job of execution offensively and a big first down.
Troy, how ironic is it as Detroit takes a timeout after that 15-yard play, that it's Dallas's defense on the field trying to end this game and win it for the Dallas Cowboys, coordinated by Rod Marinelli, who suffered through that 0-16 season in 2008 as head coach of the Detroit Lions. First down. Four-man rush. Stafford has it batted down. And it was Crawford who got his arm up and knocked it away.
Tyrone Crawford realizes that he's not able to get there, and so when the ball's launched, he goes up and is able to get a hand on the ball. We saw the interception earlier in the game on a deflected pass, and you mentioned Rod Marinelli and the job that he has done with his defense. Yeah, his defense is the one who's going to have to make a play to extend them to the next round.
Or will it be Stafford, 2nd and 10? And it'll be 2nd and 15 as Calvin Johnson left early.
Full start, number 81 offense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Toward the beginning part of this season, as you watch Johnson start too early. We were here for the San Francisco game and the season opener. A lot of 49er fans, no real home field advantage. Same for when the Texans came here. Different story right now. This place is definite.
Yeah, it always is around playoff time, no matter where you travel.
2nd and 15. Pass is caught by Ebron. Tackle made by Skandrick. 3rd down coming up, and Ebron able to get out of bounds and stop the clock with 1:07 left.
You know, we saw the one play earlier in the game on the first possession when they were able to hit Golden Tate, and he makes a guy miss, and then he takes it the distance. But the Cowboys defensively, really all season long, have been good not giving up big plays. They make you earn everything that you get, and they're making the Lions earn everything they get on this drive. There's not been anything down the field to come away with a big chunk.
Third down and 7. Pass caught. Riddick short of a first down. Good tackle by Carr. 4th down coming up, and the clock stops with exactly a minute left. And if the Lions want any chance to win their first playoff game since January of 1992, they have to convert on this 4th down.
And the Cowboys have had success off the edge. Watch for Anthony Spencer. They're giving a little bit of help right now. They got Eric Ebron, the rookie, but try to secure the edges for Matthew Stafford.
Stafford brought down. Ball out. Dallas gonna win. And it's DeMarcus Lawrence who knocked it out, then recovered. The rookie who fumbled moments ago. Redemption.
You're going to see him right here off the edge, and he's working against Riley Reif, and he just gets past him. I don't know that even if DeMarcus Lawrence doesn't make a play on Stafford, if there was anywhere for Stafford to go with the football. There was good coverage across the board by the Cowboys defensively, and for a team unit that had been maligned coming into this season, you're right, Joe, it's fitting that in the biggest game of the year, the defense is the one that makes the play.
Here's the play moments ago when Lawrence had it, lost it, giving the Lions hope. But now on 4th and 3, that play will end this wild card playoff game. And it sets up a matchup for the Dallas Cowboys in Green Bay. Early on Sunday here on Fox. Jerry Jones was asked in an interview earlier today, when did you know this team was good? Talking about it being an uphill climb coming into the season. He said when this team came back from 21 points down on the road in St. Louis, he knew it was different, and they have had 3 comebacks that stand out. This one, their biggest of the year.
Well, they're down 10 points at halftime, and they come back and win the ball game, as you said, like they've done all season long. Don't count this team out. They have been outstanding on the road, played their best football on the road. They've got their work cut out for them next week at Lambeau, but 8-0 on the season is going to be a heck of a matchup next Sunday.
Jim Caldwell in his first year should be awfully proud, getting his Lions to 11 wins and to this wild card matchup. But Jason Garrett, unsigned beyond this year, as a playoff victory, as does Tony Romo, his second, and for the Cowboys, their first since 2009.
Well, these playoff games, and you come into the postseason, you're excited about the opportunity that's presented for you, but when you're on the short end of it, it is really hard knowing how difficult the year is to even get yourself in this position. But like I said, when you play in the wild card round, you know you better be good on the road if you're ultimately going to get where you want to go. And nobody's been better on the road than the Dallas Cowboys.
And they are headed on the road to Green Bay next Sunday against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Should be some matchup. You can see Aaron Andrews getting set to go. Aaron, all yours.
I think the best shot we had of you is you on your belly smacking the ground after you threw that touchdown to Terrence Williams. You told us this week, look, they pressure the quarterback, they get to you. Yeah, no kidding. What was the biggest challenge the Lions defense presented you with today?
Well, more than anything, it's trying to keep your poise. And I think, that's an outstanding year. That was the best defense we played all year by far. And I think, they deserve a lot of credit. They played awesome today. And, you just have to stay in the moment and understand the game. It doesn't end after the first quarter or the second quarter. It's a long way to go, and it wasn't going well. But usually things dissipate a little bit. It's not quite as crazy as it is early, and you just have to keep calm. And I played enough games to understand that. Maybe I didn't do that as well when I was younger, but I think just poise throughout the game. Our team did a great job of that.
And the good news here is it doesn't end tonight for you. You head to Lambeau, face Green Bay Packers. What will be the biggest key for this offense going to face their defense?
I got to be honest, I haven't even thought about anybody else here for this week. So obviously we know now we're going against as good an offense as there is in the league, and maybe over the last 3-4 years the best offense in the league. So it's going to be a great test. We have to play great, definitely better than we did today. But I'm excited about the challenge, and it's going to be fun.
Congrats. Thanks, Tony.
Thanks, Aaron.
Talking to this organization about how Tony Romo has matured. We just talked about it. Playing with poise, playing within this offense. Jerry Jones and the Cowboys have a playoff win. For Romo, his second. The Cowboys are trailed by 13 with 3 minutes left in the third quarter at 20-7. Come storming back. They're off to Green Bay on the heels of this 24-20 win. Be back after this.